Hello, everybody. Welcome to Believe TV. My name is Bruce Sampson, and I am your host. Thank you so much for joining today. If you're a first time watcher or listener, this is an interactive forum, and so we encourage you joining in and saying hi, even if it's just to say, hey, I'm watching you and I'm in New Orleans or wherever you happen to be. That's always appreciated. And I also appreciate and encourage folks jumping in on the conversation. Today, it's just going to be me. Sometimes I have guests on that I love to have conversations with and share with all of you and learn things about them and talk about past and future and how we are dealing with the current world and all of that. But today it's just me and as well as you. So again, I encourage your participation in the discussion. So today's topic is choices. I want to first say, hey, I'm going casual today. I've just got a t-shirt on, got my Saints cap on, and to be honest, I'm not even really sure where this is going to go today. But I just wanted to share some different things because over the last several months, I have been um, just kind of in a position of recognizing and acknowledging choices, whether they are choices that I've made in the past that have led to where I am now, or whether they're choices about the future or the current, current place that we're in, or the near or distant future. So uh, I'm wondering why I'm not seeing. Well, anyway, um, so so today is just about choices, and it was really interesting to me because yesterday I was talking with a friend, and uh, the friend was asking, "Hey, are you doing a show tomorrow?" And I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I am or not. I hadn't really, yeah, I hadn't really decided yet if I was going to do that or not. And uh, part of it had to do with choices, just a lot of different stuff that's going on in life and things about the future and all of that. And um, so I wasn't really sure. And then this morning, I was streaming my church service, and I kind of already decided at that point that I was going to do one and I was going to do choices. And so I set it all up, and then I started streaming the church service, and all of a sudden, the pastor came out and started talking about the Beatitudes um, and started talking about us as human beings having choice and decisions that we make, our personal choices that we make. And I thought, okay, so I guess I am supposed to talk about this today, and we'll just trust and see where it goes, and hopefully it blesses someone along the way, which is always my hope of all these broadcasts. And so, thank you, Miss Emma Ross. She's watching in Angie. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And also my friend Karen in Germany, in Hamburg. Thank you so much, my friend, for joining. So yeah, pop in just like that and just post below if you have a thought or a question or just to say hi and tell us that you're watching and listening. So I'm also going to be honest in telling you. Well, I mean, I'm always trying to be honest, but I'll be forthcoming in saying that I actually just got done with a Zoom call, and I won't go into details of it or anything like that, but just got done with one that um, I walked away from feeling very emotional. Um, I mean, in a good way, like in absolutely blessed, um, kind of surprised. Anyway, just feeling blessed from it. Um, but it was emotional nonetheless. So I'm definitely all of my feelings right now as we uh, begin this. But I guess one of the things. So here's one of the things that was on my mind when I came up with the topic of choices. Um, I've been a believer, at least in recent years, that you choose joy, right? That there are circumstances that are in our life that, are oftentimes beyond our control. Sometimes they are things that are a result of something that we've done or a decision we made, whatever. But at the end of the day, regardless of what you're going through, you can choose joy. And that may sound a little crazy. And I'm sure that there are folks who are like, wait a minute, you don't choose joy. Joy happens if, you win the lottery, or joy happens when, good things happen, and, whatever. And what I'm saying is that joy is something that you choose regardless. I've spoken before on this program and with friends and stuff about my trip to South Africa and my time there and how eye-opening it was in several respects. And one of the things that was just, I don't even know the word for it, but just touched me to my core and my heart, was being exposed to people. I mean, and this wasn't brand new, but there was something about the experience in South Africa that just made it hit home even more. Was this idea that we were working with, in some cases, young people and in communities that, I mean, you could virtually say they had nothing in terms of material wealth and those types of things. Like they could barely say they had a roof over their head. I mean, barely. Like when I say barely, I mean like a shanty that's been set up with just leftover materials from something, some aluminum and some 2x4s and whatever that they set up to kind of create a structure around them. But that surely, if there was a strong enough wind, that thing was going to come down. So these were the types of people that, in communities that we were working in sometimes. And what was amazing to me was to come into that thinking, now we're coming here to bring the joy, to, bring you hope and bring you love and all this stuff. And to walk in and see those smiles and their energy and excitement and all of that was just incredible. And I've talked before about the conversation I had the very first workshop that we did in South Africa, in this poor area, this poor school. And here I am feeling sorry for these kids because, they're wearing their uniforms, but some of them are just filthy, and it's because they just don't have the means to wash them, or what have you, right? And I'm looking at them and I'm judging them from the standpoint of, um, or judging their situation from the standpoint of the material, of you don't have money, you don't have internet, you don't have phones, you don't have stuff, right? And then come to have a conversation, we have a little break, and I'm talking with this group of kids, and they ask me, where I'm from. And so some of you may remember this, me talking about this before. But it is relevant in the sense that they're talking to me about, asking, where am I from? And so we get down to the point of me understanding, oh, you mean like where do my people originate? Like someone say, oh, we're from, my family's from Sicily, my family's from, this place or whatever. Because generally speaking, we are a country of immigrants for the most part, with the exception of, um, the indigenous population that we've referred to as Indians. Um, for the most part, we are a nation of immigrants, and in the United States, and so those of European and um, you know lineage are able to say, oh, well, in most cases they can kind of track that back. Most families have an idea of Well, this is where my family comes from. My family's German, my family's Italian, my family's French, my family's Spanish, what have you. Well, as an African American, here I was talking to these kids and saying, I don't really know. I don't have that answer. I don't know where we come from. And for them, their faces just went to, oh my gosh, and them feeling sorry for me way more than I was feeling sorry for them. But like they were like how can you function and not know who you are, where you come from, who you are? And that immediately flipped the script on me of like, whoa, I'm sitting here feeling sorry for them about material stuff, but they understand something on a deeper, more important level. It's the human connection, it's that family connection. It's where does all that originate? Where does that come from? Do you understand your story? Beyond where you are now, what like your story. So um anyway, just thinking about that, thinking, hi Miss Renita, how are you? Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. So you may say, well, what does that have to do with choice? It goes back to the thing I was saying before about choosing joy. These were people who, despite how I looked at them from a material lens, they were, hey, Miss Deborah, how are you? Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining in. Uh, yeah, and you guys feel free to let your friends know to join in too as well. But choosing joy. They, by all accounts, by all um, material measurements, they should have been sad. They should have been distraught. They should have had a lack of hope. All of those things. But these kids were like little, like we say it sometimes. Like you hear people say, hey, how you doing? Like, hey, I woke up this morning. I woke up this morning, so I'm blessed. That sort of thing. Well, hey, Miss Sylvia. Um, but they were really living that. Like they woke up that morning. There were challenges they had to go to just to go to school. These kids had to walk through gang infested neighborhoods and where their bodies, their livelihood, their lives were threatened, and so um there were so many challenges they had in front of them that for me would be like, oh, just devastating, like just I'm done, just end it now, if I were presented with those same circumstances. But they chose joy. They chose to be happy because could be worse. Their situation was bad, but could be worse. They were able to come, they made it to school that day. They had clothes to put on. They were going to get fed at school. Even if they didn't have a meal when they got home, they were going to get a meal at school. You know what I mean? Like, so they chose joy. And in the world that we're living in now, we are often faced with not choosing joy because of inconvenience, because we've been told by someone else that that person has something that they don't deserve. That person over there. So therefore, that's an impact on, they have something that we don't feel they deserve. So therefore, that's taking away from what I deserve, what I want. And so that steals my joy. So now my joy is gone because my focus is on, I don't want them to have that. I don't want them to have extra. And so there are oftentimes, and I've talked about this before too, that we make decisions whether we're voting or whether our representatives vote for us that are in an interest of, instead of love pouring out and making sure we're taking care of everybody, sometimes the calculus is we look at the situation and say, well, wait a minute, this would be a good thing for all of us, but not for those people over there. not for, whatever those people means, right? Whatever that means. Um, if those people get that, then no, let's not do it, because those people might get a little something extra. And so we'll often make decisions, because I see it all the time. It happens all the time that we make these decisions that, instead of being based on love and good, and the things that we claim to believe, that we come out of church going, oh yes, Lord, and amen, and all this stuff. And then when we get out in the world and start making decisions, we start making decisions based on the world as opposed to how we're supposed to. And so we then say, I'd rather not have that benefit, because you might get that benefit too. And I don't think you should have it. And so the focus then becomes on that, instead of, well, no, this is a benefit for the greater good for everyone. And so what? Look, I can't control that. With that, yes, there may be a few people who take advantage of that situation. Does that mean that's something we shouldn't do? That we're so locked in on making sure that those people don't get something, that we deny what's in our best interest of all of us, of the majority. And we do it all the time. And I see it all the time, and I hear it all the time. And people will get up and profess to us, that mindset. And we get so locked into it, instead of choosing joy, choosing to be magnanimous, choosing to care and say, you know what? Look, whatever you're going to do, you're going to do. But at the end of the day, I choose to help my neighbor. I choose to acknowledge and recognize that someone else has less than I do. And this may be a blessing on them. And sometimes we choose something other than joy. We choose something other than love and beauty. And at the end of the day, we have to make choices. We make choices no matter what, right? We're making thousands of choices every day. And those choices, those decisions don't only impact us, they impact others around us. And then we somehow end up in a situation where we're further down the road, and we don't recognize our community. We don't we look at certain things and go, well, it didn't used to be this way. Well, why is this happening? We used to have this. Why don't we have that anymore? Well, why? But if you are able to step back and have a sense of clarity, where you can step back enough to see that trail of things that have happened that led to that point, then you'll understand that you've actually been part of that process. So it's really easy to look at your community and say, man, it's really gone downhill. And let's say you and some of your friends are getting together, and you're all talking about how the community's gone downhill, and you all have been part of that community your whole lives. And but you don't see the part you played in it, because whether it's action or inaction, you have played a part in where that community is right now. And so when you look around and you see blighted buildings, or people have left, or whatever it is, or crime, or whatever it happens to be, right, that is less than desirable, we don't always understand that the choices we've made have led to that, have been a part of leading to that, right? And again, it's not just your actions, it's the inaction, right? Because you have an opportunity every day to be a blessing to somebody. You have an opportunity every day. Every day you have an opportunity to choose to be a blessing to somebody in some small way. Even if that choice is simply, good morning, how you doing today? neighbor, hey, how you doing? You know, or hey, like that outfit, or whatever. You have the opportunity every single day to be a blessing to someone. And if you don't, it's because you've chosen not to. Hey, Miss Holmes, thank you very much. Um, but yeah, but that's the thing. So choices, right? So but you have to come from a place of first being aware of it, because it's so easy to get trapped in a bubble and get pulled down the rabbit hole of all the yeah negative and yeah negative and all the stuff on Facebook and I'm talking about this person, oh, and that person. There's so much hatred and stuff that's spewed on online and in our conversation and stuff. And all of those times, every time you post something online, you're making a choice. You're making a choice to either bring positive light and love, or to bring negativity, or in some cases to allow that negativity to foster and permeate and spread, right? And we're always making choices constantly, from what toothpaste do I buy? What am I having for breakfast? What shoes am I wearing today? What have you? Which route am I taking to work? Um, should I get gas now or get it later? Like we're making, all these decisions all the time. So switch lanes now, all that sort of stuff, right? We're always making choices. But how often do we stop and think about those choices and their impact on others and on ourselves? Sometimes it's a choice of, what did you choose in your downtime? What did you choose to use that downtime for? Did you choose to spend that time watching something negative on TV or on Netflix or on Facebook or YouTube or what have you, that fosters negativity? Or did you choose to take that time to educate yourself, to volunteer, to donate to a cause, to just reach out to someone and say, hey, how you doing? I didn't want anything, just wanted to check in and see, hey, how you doing? How are you really doing? And there's been this campaign on TV, and I applaud. I don't remember who's done it, but there's a new campaign that's been out that's talking about mental health, and the idea of what we're all going through right now is impacting our mental and emotional health. And so they're saying, have those awkward conversations. How you doing? Yeah, it's awkward. Sometimes there's that awkward silence that you're sitting there and someone's next to you and you're like, I don't know what to talk about. Sometimes it's just a matter of saying, hey, how you doing? And then when they give you the, oh, fine, then have the courage to come back and say, no, really, how you doing? And find out how they really are. Because at the end of the day, we're all going through stuff. And if we're honest, we're dealing with stuff, right? And you can still be honest and still choose joy. You can still grieve and feel pain, but still choose love. You can still be offended and still choose light over darkness. So, choices. We make those choices every day. And when I'm talking to you, please believe me, I'm also speaking into the mirror, right? Telling myself, because I I am often looking at myself in the mirror and saying, Bruce, time to step up your game. You're not doing what you should do. So, Miss Renita Cook saying sad but true. Miss Emma Ross saying yes, so true. So yeah, I welcome your feedback. Please, like if there's anything you want to share, if you agree, if you disagree, I would love to hear your point of view. But it's those little choices we make every day, and it's us recognizing that. Take a second and think about it for a second. Middle of your workday, at your lunch hour, before you go to bed, when you're choosing to watch a sitcom or whatever it is, right, or to read a book or whatever it is. Do you have a minute or two to touch and impact someone's life in a positive way? When you're ready to make that post online, are you sure you want to make a negative post? Are you sure you want to put down that person? Do you sure you want to pile on to folks attacking that person or that situation? Maybe even in a case where someone that you think is kind of deplorable or mean, or whatever you may think about that person, you may have a certain opinion of them that is actually founded in some reality, right? Some experience that you've had with them, some interaction. But that doesn't mean, or should I say, have you ever stopped to think, well, I wonder if they're all right? Because why are they, rather than just going, well, you're evil, I don't like you, you're a horrible person, you should go away, you should be discounted, you should be diminished. Well, maybe what they needed is someone to say, how you doing? You know, you want to talk about it? It just seems like you're upset about something, and I think it's probably deeper than who won the election. I feel like it's probably deeper than that, and I'm willing to listen to you. No judgment, just listen to you, because we often diminish or fail to recognize the power and the impact of just being heard, of what it's like to be heard. For someone to say, I want to hear how you're doing. Not just the in passing, hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm fine. Because generally speaking, and I've talked about this before, that's the response we want most times, right? Because we're in such a hurry. We just want you to say you're fine. Great. So that lets me off the hook now. Instead of saying, no, how are you doing? Because you seem like you're not okay. Or even those people who are the smiley, always positive and stuff, how you doing? And even take a minute to say, hey, you are always so loving and so giving to everybody else. But how are you doing? Are you being taken care of? Are you being loved? Are you getting what you need? Are you being fed? Because sometimes we take those folks for granted, and we miss out. Mr. Reed says we have to stop and think before writing a post. We have to be mindful of others' feelings. Yeah, we should. We should. But sometimes we just get caught up, right? We just get caught up in the moment of like, yeah, and I'm going to jump in on that too. Sometimes we do that. I've done it. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I haven't. Certainly I have. And almost every time I've regretted it, going, oh man, okay, let me go back and let me try to repair this. you know, um, let's see. Miss Deborah says, treat others as you would want to be treated. Yeah, golden rule, right? Miss Karen says, the most time you don't think about it, you do it, but you don't think. Thanks for your saying. I like it. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's just being able to take a second and breathe, take a deep breath and just go, okay. If we all did that, imagine if every single person made it a point to at least once a day be a blessing to somebody else by hearing them out. You know, I can't tell you how many times and I'm sure some of you had this happen too, especially some of the people that I know that are on here, because some of the very people who are on here have listened to me talk about, complain about things, or just hear my frustration about things or whatever. And some of you have just checked in on me. Miss Pat, for one, has definitely checked in on me before. Um, but just taking the time to see how folks are doing. It is so impactful. It can make a difference. Imagine that impact of that ripple effect. Because once you get that little bit of love, that little bit of, it's like a weight is lifted. It really is when someone actually listens to you. Oh, thank you. Someone pays you a compliment. Oh, thank you. Especially when you catch them off guard, right? When it's not part of the normal conversation, you just come across somebody and just go, hey, you you rock. You know, thank you so much for what you do uh, for others. Really appreciate that so much. And I've talked about this before that like I'm really bad at being on the receiving end of that because I get awkward and I don't know what to say because I don't then want to make it about me, but I have to learn to at least acknowledge because that in and of itself is also a blessing. So when someone says something to you, and right now I'm preaching to Bruce right now, that when someone says something to you that's positive, like thank you for what you do, or thank you for this or that, or acknowledging, hey, that was great when you did that, or whatever it is, right? To be able to say, to take a second and say, thank you so much for acknowledging that. I appreciate that so much. Bless you. How are you doing? Right? How are you doing? Thank you for that. Now let me repay that by asking you how you're doing. Right? And being honest about it. Because that's the other piece of it in that whole campaign about reaching out to people and seeing how they're doing and stuff, is you got to be willing to have that conversation back. And oftentimes we live in an age where it's sometimes discouraged, right? People are moving so fast that you're like, oh, well, I guess they didn't really want to know. Hey, how you doing? Oh, fine, right? And if we're all honest, we can see that in ourselves and recognize it. Yeah, I've done that. Yeah, that's me. I definitely have. It's that conviction, right? It's like because I get it all the time, especially in church. I can't tell you how many times I'm in church and the pastor will say something, and I'll go, "Oh, got me. Yep, I do that. I've done that. I'm guilty. Yep." you know. Um, so anyway, um, we're talking about choices, and like I said, when I started this, I didn't know where I was going with it, but this seems like a good place at least because at least we can say something and talk about good people. Hey, Miss Dana. And by the way, this is me convicting myself again. I did not respond to your message the other day because I was in Zoom calls, but I wanted to say thank you for extending that courtesy and that niceness to me the other day. I appreciate it. I really, really do. And I thought that, and I kept thinking, oh, I'm going to message her back, and I don't think I ever did. So I just want to say thank you very much for being kind and for all that you do in the community too. Thank you so much for you being you. So how you doing? It's what you're right. How are you? Um, I, I am blessed beyond belief, but I most definitely can tell you that I have my moments and my times when I'm all in my feelings, and there are moments when I'm sad, when I'm depressed. There are times when I'm angry and frustrated because I'm human. Of course, we all are. And I try to always put myself, like, usually the best way for me to set myself straight is by doing something for somebody else or taking some initiative that I think is going to bless other people. And it's amazing what it does to my psyche and my spirit. And it's another one of the reasons why I'm encouraging folks um, to do that. So, uh, to engage in that type of behavior as well, right? To acknowledge others, and then and actually take a second and actually be intentional about asking someone, "How are you doing?" Maybe it's somebody you work with every day who comes by and gives you a report every day and say, "Yeah, here it is," or drops off your mail or whatever it is. Hey, how you doing? How are you doing? Want to freak them out? Do that when you normally like, "Hey, thank you. Have a good day." going about your business, right? Okay, stop for a second and go, hey, how you doing? Everything all right? You good? How are things? How are things with the family? How's your health? You know, in this day and age, they'll throw some people off, especially people that you're not super, super close with, that you already have that relationship and that dynamic with. But make that choice, right? Make that choice to actually care, to take a second and say, I am going to be a blessing to someone today. I'm going to try to be a blessing. But so what I was saying a little bit earlier was um, that there have been those times when I've reached out to someone, and I know it was all God who just said, hey, check in on that person. And I didn't expect for that to be any long conversation or anything like that. But in that moment, that person needed that. And they'd start talking, and I realized, oh, okay, we're going to be here a while. And sometimes it was a situation where I was actually going into it because there was something I wanted to say or something I needed from the person. But then I realized from the reaction, oh, you need to talk. Okay. Well, my thinking, wait. So, yes, please go on. Tell me what's going on. And then I can't tell you how many times it's happened to me in my life, just in general, that all of a sudden I found myself, that was not my intent. I intended to have a 2-minute conversation with someone, get my answer and move on. And then realize and recognize in that second that, wait, what I'm doing is not as important as this person's well being. And I may be the only person today who's willing and able to take the time to see if they're okay. And think about all the stories we hear and stuff about, and every time you hear about like a suicide or, someone going down a bad path or whatever, and you go, man, I didn't even see that coming. I had no idea that person was, oh, wow. You would have if you asked them how they were doing. If more people did that, then maybe they wouldn't have been in that. And I'm not trying to cast blame on someone and make people feel like, oh, I'm responsible for it. No. But what I'm saying is you can be a positive contribution, a blessing to someone else's life by the choices we make. So, hope your family doing well. Thanks, cousin. Um, and so, oh, gee, this is me. Wait, which one is you? What do you mean by that, Miss Dana? Um, but and again, I want to repeat what I said before. All the stuff I'm saying, I'm also preaching to me. So don't think that I'm standing on some high hill looking down at everyone and going, so you all need to get your acts together because I'm good and you're not. That's not it at all. This is me saying I'm going to use this platform to, as things come to me and as things that I know I need to work on, realizing that maybe sharing that may bless somebody else, and trying to encourage folks. Um, okay, wait, I'm trying to see what. Trying to say. You probably save a lot of lives by saying how you doing. Yeah, is everything all right? Yes. So by checking with people and just making sure um, that they're okay. When I call for something and realize the person on the line need me for me to listen to them. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, I definitely had that. Miss Dana, I probably did that too because I know there was one time, this was pre-pandemic, way, way back. There was a time when you needed technical help with something and you came over, and I think I went off for like a half hour about stuff I was frustrated about. And you were probably sitting there going, okay, what does this have to do with my computer and the help I need on this thing? But it was, so you were a blessing to me in that instance too. I distinctly remember that specific situation. But sometimes, yeah, we just need to be aware and get beyond what our needs are in that moment, right? Like I need to get this answer about this really quick, and then but take a second and go, you okay? Listening to their voice, and the other thing is too, don't put it off. Make the choice to not put it off, because sometimes we'll say, you know what, I've been part of these conversations. Ask yourself this: have you been a part of these conversations where you're talking with a group of friends and someone will bring up someone like a mutual friend or acquaintance? How are they doing? Oh, I'm not really sure. They seem kind of sad the last time I saw them. Oh yeah, we need to check on them sometime. Yeah, one of these days we need to check on them and see how they're doing. Yeah, and everybody gets in on the conversation. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We need to check on them and see what's going on. Sunday, and then all of a sudden they're gone, or something severe happens, and you don't know the positive impact you could have made by stopping the conversation right then, picking up the phone and saying, "Hey, so and so," sitting there with a group of friends, and one person just asked how you were doing because they hadn't seen you in a while. And I thought, hey, let me call you and just let you know we were thinking about you. What's going on? How are you doing? Imagine what that would do for someone, like especially if they were depressed, right? If they'd suffered some loss or something, and you didn't know about it, but you reached out and said, hey, we were thinking about you. How often do you think about someone and not reach out to see how they're doing? You think about it and you go, yeah, I should probably do that sometime. But right now, Jeopardy coming on. I gotta watch Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune, whatever. Right? Record that and call them. Right? Choices. So I guess that's the big thing that I wanted to talk about today, as far as choices are concerned. Um, and I guess that's the thing that I'll just leave you with for all of that is try to be a blessing every day, and spread the word of that. Right? Tell somebody else you talk to today, hey, let's make, just like with your New Year's resolutions and stuff. Sometimes we'll confide in a couple of friends. This is my New Year's resolution. I need you to help keep me accountable. Help keep me accountable that I don't eat as much candy as I usually do, or I stop drinking sodas because it's not good for me, or that I'm taking my medicine on a regular basis, or I'm getting my blood pressure checked, or whatever it is, right? What if you make a pact with some people and stuff to just check in on each other, or to say, hey, we're all going to try to be a blessing to somebody else, and periodically check in with those people and say, who are you a blessing to this week? What did you do? And it doesn't have to be something monumental, right? It doesn't have to be something huge. Again, it can simply be, how are you doing? I'm asking because I care, not because I'm in a hurry and I need you to just say fine so I can now tell you what I want to get from you. No, how are you doing? Or maybe it's, hey, I was calling to get so and so's number. Can you give me so and so's number? Oh yeah, yeah, good, thank you. So I appreciate that. So how you doing? What's going on? What's going on with you? Anything you need? Anything you going on that you need some help with? And I've had that happen a few times, in my own, more than a few times, where people have reached out and just said, at just the right time too, of like, hey, you got anything that you need help with? Just checking in, just trying to see if you need, I know you're always doing different projects and stuff. Anything I can help with? Well, as a matter of fact, yeah, you know, and so we just need to do that. So we got Dr. Williams here. It's the little things that matter the most. Yeah. So those little moments. 'Cause think about your own life. Just think about those times when just that one look, that one nod, or that one person being gracious and saying, "Here, you can cut me in front. You have fewer things in your basket than I do. Go ahead in front of me." Think about what that meant to you in that moment of like, "Oh, you weren't expecting that. Thank you. That's so nice of you." Change your feeling in that moment, didn't it? Right? Think about those times when things like that happen, or someone did a pay it forward thing. Like with I know people do this like with Starbucks and stuff. Like they'll drive through, they'll pay theirs, and they'll say, "Here, I want to pay for the person behind me," and they just take off. And it could be a complete stranger, Like I've done that for friends before. Like if I notice they're behind me, I've done that before in drive-throughs or whatever. But I've also done it with strangers. Like, hey, put this towards their bill, and go on about my business, right? Um, and that restores their faith in humanity. That makes them feel good, and it makes them want to then do something for someone else. So, so there's that. Let's see. We'll do cousin. I'll always be aware of see something, say something. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we got to be a village. you know, no matter how small or big that village is. You know, it takes a village, not just to raise a child, but to keep that community going. I'm glad to tune in at my youth group today. This will be our topic. Oh, bless you. Awesome. I love that. I love that. Thank you so much. And thank you for always working with the youth and doing so much in the community and everything. That's great. I would love to, if you have time, which I know that that's not in abundance for you, but if you have time, Miss Dana, I would love to hear the feedback of how that went. And that would be amazing. I'd love to know that. Um, Miss Renita, thank you. Um, Again, it's so funny because again, this is all God because when I started this, I didn't. All I knew was that we were going to talk about choices, you know, and like I said, it's tuned in, to watch the streaming of my church service, and the topic was, beatitudes and choices we make, and that God gave us choice, you know, and free will and all of that. And what do we do with the choices we make, and how do they impact those around us, and all of that. And I began this also by talking about over the last several months having a series of conversations and a series of Zooms and interactions with lots of different people, a number of them being unexpected. And those folks don't even realize they were right on time. Man, they were right on time with what they said to me and what I was feeling and going. They didn't know what I was going through, but they said all the right stuff that still were the answers that I needed, or that confirmation, that affirmation that I needed. I needed someone to say, "No, yeah, you good. You should do that. You've made an impact." To remind you, hey, you're important, right? We all are, and sometimes we need that reminder. Um, oh, that's awesome. That's awesome, Miss Dana. Thank you very much. Um, Thank you, Miss Emma, and you are a blessing too. That's what I'm saying. Like most of the people that are on this, that are interacting and stuff, my big brother, Coach Martin, um, are all those type of people who do that anyway. And to some degree, and I'll just talk about my brother for a second, Coach Martin. He is that reminder to me. I can't tell you how often I realize I need to step up my game by watching his example. That for whatever think people may think about what I do or whatever contributions I make, I look at him and go, and I feel like I'm standing still. I look at what he's doing and I'm like, man, wow. And just the fact that he takes the time to check in with so many people and all of that, and that he checks in on me. Um, so I uh, so big brother, I appreciate you, and appreciate all of you. And Popeye, my friend, Mr. Flott. Be positive. Growth, good, right? Enjoy, Brother Bruce. Yes, sir. Um, my schoolmate. Um, so yeah, just be mindful of the decisions that you make. Instead of saying, I love Coach Martin. I mean, talk about just good people, man. Just I am so blessed to be in this family and to have him as my big brother. Um, always setting the example and always reminding me, getting me back to square one, being grounded, and knowing, remembering who I am, what I come from, and and what I'm supposed to be doing in this life. you know. Um, and yeah, Miss Ross saying Coach goes above and beyond and being a beacon of hope for so many. Absolutely, absolutely. And like I said, I've had the benefit of that my whole life. Of having him as my big brother. Um, for those that don't know, we grew up not across the street, but we shared a driveway. You know what I mean? We shared a driveway, and I was his little brother, and he's my big brother, and I'll always have been. We're technically first cousins, um, but brothers couldn't be any closer than we are, and the love we have for each other, and he's taught me so many valuable lessons in my life, and continues to teach me and guide me, and I'm grateful for that. Um, and I'm grateful for all of you too, because you being here, watching this program, giving me your feedback is extremely encouraging. I remember when I first started this thing over 2 years ago, that it was kind of an experiment, and I remember walking into it thinking, man, nobody wants to hear what I have to say. It's so self-indulgent for me to do a show, to have my own show and stuff like that. It's just so weird. And I can't tell you how many times I've come across folks who don't necessarily comment, but they do watch the program, and then they'll respond and tell me, "Hey, I enjoyed your program this week. I learned something. It meant a lot." Or, "Hey, it just made me laugh." Whatever it is. So um, I hope that today has been a blessing for you, regardless of what you're going through today. And I hope that you can take away that idea of being a blessing to someone. Now, I'm going to be a little bit self-promoting now for a second. It's not really self-promoting, but in a way, I just want to remind folks about the Believe Family Zoom party that we're having, and everyone's welcome to be a part of it. Anybody and everybody who wants to be a part of it can. You don't have to be a kid who's taking the camp. You don't have to be, a parent of a kid who's taking the camp. It doesn't matter your age, where you are in the world. Doesn't matter. We want you guys to come and be a part of it. We're doing a Zoom party. I believe it's on the 28th. So next week. um, Next week, I'll do my normal show, and I'll probably do another big reminder of, hey, you guys, come join us for the Zoom party. Um, and I'm so sorry it's down below me. I was going to say I don't remember the times, but but if you look at the crawl below, um, that's this little thing below that has the words going across. The Believe Family Zoom Party, Sunday, February 28th. So I was right. So for those of us in Central Time Zone, 6 p.m. Eastern Time Zone, 7 p.m. And if you're Pacific, 4 p.m. So you can send a message on here, or you can send it to my private messenger asking for the Zoom link, and I will give you that link. And next week I'll probably just share it openly with everybody and just say, here, just jump in if you want to be a part of it. It's going to be a lot of fun. You'll get to meet all of our directors. We're going to have some fun interactive things that we're going to do. We're going to have games that we're going to play. You're going to find out information about Believe and the things that we have coming in the near future, and all of that. So I really encourage you and hope that you guys will join us and help spread the word. Again, it's going to be this next Sunday coming up, the 28th, in the evening. So 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern, and 4 p.m. Pacific. So those of you on the West Coast, it'll be at 4 p.m. So please come join us. It's going to be a blast. It's totally free. It's free. All you got to just log in. It's just a Zoom party. So it's our family Zoom party, and we're going to have those once every couple of months. And so we've committed to doing that because we just want to, one, say thank you to those who have been part of Believe, but also extend and grow our Believe family, and and I want you guys to meet these amazing people that I am so blessed to get to call my partners and cohorts in this vision of what Believe is, in using the arts and using our skills and talents to help people embrace the possible. Young people especially, but communities at large, to embrace the possible, to shake off the negativity and see what's possible, to choose joy, right? Choose joy. So whether you're watching this live or on repeat, I encourage you guys to check out, to make that choice, to join us for the Believe Zoom party. Again, it's free. You just need to be able to either access through a phone or through your computer to get on Zoom. We'll send you a link and it's free. You just come in and join us, and we're going to have some fun. Doesn't matter. It's like, well, I don't know people. This is how you get to know people. It's great. That's what one of the things Believe is really great at, is introducing people and creating friends and breaking down barriers and all of that. So come on in and just have some fun, and just participate. Like I said, we're going to play some games. We're not going to put anybody on the spot. It's not about that. We're just going to have fun. So come and join in. Hey, Miss Chandra Kazi. There's another one of my friends who's always there to help and always giving to the community as well, and cares about young people so much. Thank you so much. She's always there as a right hand when we do Believe, and any other projects. She's always been very helpful in that. So yeah, Ms. Sandra, I hope you'll come and join us for the Zoom party next week, and tell kids to come and join it. This is a free, easy way for you to come and meet us and get to meet these teachers, our acting, music, and dance instructors. And like I said, we're gonna have fun. It doesn't matter if you sing or dance or any of that stuff. None of that stuff matters. Just come and have fun with us. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna share some information with you guys, but most of it's just gonna be us being silly and having fun. That's what it really is. So come and join it, and I promise you it's going to be a good time. So we hope that you'll join us again. So you can message me here or message me privately, or like I said, next week I will definitely put the link out there, and just for people to go ahead and just join, to click in and come and join us. So again, thank you all so much for tuning in again. And yeah, and I'll let Ms. Dana have the last word. Yes, choose joy. Choose it. That's a choice you make. Yes, you can be going through tough times, but you choose joy. You choose joy when you say, you know what? I wasn't able to pay that bill this month, but I was able to eat. I was able to have a roof over my head. You know what? I'm so grateful that with all the people who lost power and everything, I've got electricity. Thank you. Thank you. I'm choosing joy about the things I do have. I'm choosing joy about the things I hope to have in the future. Choose joy. And the more we do that, and the more we come together, and we share that joy, and we spread that love and that hope, and we are a blessing to others, you'd be amazed at what that will do to your life and how much it will change your community and your surroundings. So I see you, Miss Renita. I will definitely send you the link. So yes, come be part of our Believe Family Zoom party. And when we say family, we mean everybody. So grandma, grandpa, uncle, aunt, kids, mom, and dad, everybody, come hang out with us. It's a lot of fun. Especially dads and stuff. Like, come hang out with us. Usually the mom's doing stuff, and sometimes the dad's saying, "Oh, well, that's not a macho thing." Drop all that nonsense. Come on in. Most of the people we have teaching these classes are men. So, and playing these games, leading these games and stuff are men. So come in and join us, stop all the macho junk and come hang out with us, and let's have some fun, and just get to meet some people and stuff. So again, thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day and spending it with me. I appreciate it. I hope in some way, like I said, that it's been a blessing to you, and I hope that you will choose joy and choose to be a blessing to someone else each and every day. And we will see you all next time.